So you guys ignore my face, but I just wanted to tell you guys that I made the coolest looking 3 ingredient ice cream, and this recipe worked, so you can make it in the day and enjoy it for dinner. It's a very easy recipe. You could play around with the base and add different choices of ingredients. You could play around with the flavors. So I'm one person, my friends have food channels, they're food bloggers, they're into food. I'm not into food, I don't like cooking, but if I can make it, I guarantee you anyone can make it. So keep watching, and this is the simplest recipe you'll ever find. Guys, I wanted to jump right in, and I took this fresh cream from the brand Amul, and I took a glass bowl, and then I'm just gonna find a decent place. By the way, this is the easiest recipe I found on the internet. There were multiples, 3 ingredient, I think I found around 15 to 20, but this one I found the easiest, and I found these ingredients were really easily available, so I ended up choosing this, and I had given it a little bit of my twist in it. So I'm just going to pour that cream in a bowl. So I'm using around half a cup, and then I'm going to hand whisk it. Now you could use one of those machine whisking things if you're a baker. I'm sure you're good at whisking with it. I think it creates such a big mess, and plus I heard, like hand whisking is the best way of whipping this thick kind of a cream, because basically I think if you would switch it with a whipped cream, this process would become much easier. But then I had nowhere to buy whipped cream, you know how the time is. I found this easily, and I think it worked well. And then I just read up somewhere that if you use the ice bath kind of a concept, the cream whips even better and it starts whipping faster. So I had to do this in a bowl. I added ice, and then I did this thing where I placed the bowl with the cream on that ice bath thing. So this might take a bit of time. It took me around 20 good minutes by hand whisking. So I'm just going to speed up the process. We had to use a little bit of time lapse in the editing part so that the whisking does not bore you much. By the way, I'm not a cook. I can't cook. I hate cooking. I only love cooking things I love to eat, which is pretty much oats. So yeah, so you see how the editing works now. So by the way, I ended up taking some help later on, because the hand whisking kind of got really tiring. It tired my hand a lot. So it took 15 minutes of hand whisking, and I didn't think it was turning to the whipping kind of cream I wanted it and the consistency I wanted. So I took some help from my aunt, my chachi, and she helped me whisk it. By the way, just remember, whisk it in one direction, otherwise the cream turns to butter. So if I'm whisking from my hand in the right, that's where I want to whisk it with the machine as well if I'm switching. Otherwise, it's going to turn into butter and the cream will not whip at all. So it took quite a bit of time with the hand whisking thing, but then I ended up finally achieving the consistency I wanted to, which looked pretty decent. And I'm sorry, that's my kitchen, so we don't have the studio light set up, so the lighting might look a little off. I added good 3 to 4 spoons of condensed milk. Now, those are the bigger spoons. So I don't know. I'm not into cooking. I don't know if it's a teaspoon or a tablespoon. What do you call it? So then I kind of rolled it. So you want to kind of roll it over instead of mixing it straight. So, and then I would give you one suggestion. I actually added a bit more condensed milk after this as well. You can see it in the footage. But the point is, if you don't have a sweet tooth, okay, because I do not love sweet things at all, and honest to God, it was too sweet for my taste. So people who love sweet kind of things in my house, sweet desserts, love the ice cream. I, on the other hand, and my father, on the other hand, we do not like so much sweet. So if you do not have a sweet tooth, kind of go like less. Just go with 4 spoons of the condensed milk. Then I microwaved 3 dairy milks, 3 small or medium sized dairy milk in the microwave, and I placed them there for 2 minutes. They kind of melted well, and then this is how it looks pretty dirty right now. And then I kind of rolled it with the cream again, and it was great. Now here are the 3 ingredients, and now you could basically put cocoa powder. If I would have added a lot of cocoa powder, it wouldn't be that sweet. So if you want to get rid of that sweetness, you can add cocoa powder, but I ended up adding one spoon of coffee, and by the way, I love coffee in everything, so it had to have coffee, and one small, I think, tablespoon of vanilla essence, which kind of gave it that amazing flavor. Because amazing flavor, it had that coffee, vanilla, and chocolate at the same time. And then I ended up taking two airtight glass jars and splitting the mixture, because I don't have a freezer that freezes very well. According to the recipe, it should freeze in 4 hours. This is not an ice cream which has to be in the freezer overnight, and honestly, for me, putting it in two small jars actually worked that way. Because I'm holding the camera with one hand and kind of showing you the zoom inside the freezer, I couldn't really show you that well. So I'm going to attach the photo of when we were eating it, and it worked amazing. It did actually freeze really well in 6 hours, and it tasted yum. But if you don't have a sweet tooth, avoid that amount of condensed milk. So that was all. So if you want to see more such amazing stuff, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share it with your friends and click the notification bell. And thanks for watching.